Welcome to Blitz. I'm Brian Carr here at Rabun County High School with head coach Michael Davis of the Wildcats. Coach, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for having me here.
Brian, thank you. Appreciate all you do for high school sports. It's
Absolutely.
Awesome.
It's easy for me. I enjoy it. Now talk about the excitement of just for you being able to get your first head coaching job after so many years in the game. What's that been like for you, and what was it like when you found out you were going to be given the opportunity to be the head coach here?
Well, first of all, it's pretty awesome. It's being here at Rabun County, and I say this truthfully, is better than I deserve. It's an awesome place and an awesome community. Having been at Calhoun for a long time and worked in a great program, I had some opportunities. It's some head coaching jobs, but at the time it wasn't a better opportunity than what I had there at Calhoun.
Yeah.
And but just getting that opportunity here, I had really just thought I would come to Rabun County, be an assistant, just kind of right off into the sunset.
Yeah.
And but God has a plan, and that was His plan, and I'm just thankful. I'm thankful for it.
Yeah. And with that, you got to. There was a kind of a plan with that senior class. Many of the coaches were sort of, you talk about riding out in the sunset, and that was part of that plan. But being that you got to sort of construct your own staff around you, how much fun was that, and how excited about this group are you?
Well, I'm really excited. Well, first of all, I'm saying, the staff that was here, and I got to work with those guys for a year, and I do appreciate Coach Shaw hiring me and bringing me up here and working with, Rob Stockton, and Coach Stockton's as good as there is, and that was tough, and losing some of those guys. But the great thing is that having been in the business as long as I have, and I've got relationships with guys, and I hired Coach Ricky Ross. He was the defense coordinator. Him and I shared an office for 7 years in Calhoun.
Yep.
So I knew what Ricky's about. I know how he coaches, and I hired Caleb Bagley as our offensive line coach, and Caleb and I have been friends for a long time. I regard him as one of the best offensive line coaches in the state. And I knew that, when I got a job, my head job, the two people I was going to hire was a defense coordinator and offensive line coach. Mm-hmm. Those were the first two positions, and I went after the two best that I could get. Coach Bagley's also running our weight room. He does a crazy good job with that. Coach Bragg had retired, and he did a great job here in our weight room. But Coach Bagley's, he's top notch in the weight room. So just being able to hire, I've hired a guy named Jim Pavo. Coach Pavo was the defense coordinator at Gainesville when they won the state championship. Yep. Been a head coach, been down in Coffee County. Another guy, Eric Richardson, hired him. Tim Corbett. I've hired some really good coaches. Greg Beloga. I put together a really good staff. I've really been fortunate. But then again, it's not hard to sell Rabun County.
Right.
The facilities, the financial part of it, the teaching, the administration. It's not a hard sell to come up here, I can promise you.
No, and you guys got the new, I heard about the new scoreboard, haven't seen it yet, but it's a lot bigger than it used to be.
Oh, so, yeah, that's awesome.
What would you say to, because there are people outside, there are plenty of people that don't know the program very well, that just see what they want to see, right? And so they see naturally what was lost last year. What do you tell those naysayers that feel like, hey, Rabun County's going to sink back into a hole?
Well, the first thing is that group that graduated, that was a very unique class, and only being with them for a year, I could tell though, and have seen, and most of those guys had started for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. And
so with that being said, there was a lot of good players that have been playing behind them and in their shadows.
Right.
And so it's, we have good players. The only thing that we're lacking right now for some of those kids is just some game time experience.
Yeah.
And it's their time. And it's just kind of the next man up mentality. And so we're looking for. I'm just happy that those kids will get to showcase what they're capable of doing.
Yeah, and you got you be an offensive-minded coach like yourself. You had to be excited about. It's you can't replace a Gunnar Stockton. No one's pretending that. But when you get another quarterback in here, the caliber of Keegan Stover, and you're bringing back your skill position players in Lang Wyndham and Jaden Gibson, just to name a couple, and Corey Keller's role on that as well. But what's that like for you, knowing you got the skill positions, you don't have to worry about experience or lack of.
It's awesome. And first of all, just kind of piggyback what you said. Gunnar, I've coached. I've been fortunate, and it's nothing I've done, but I've just been fortunate to have been around some really good quarterbacks and really good ones. And Gunnar's the best, and I've coached both my nephews. But there's not many Gunnar Stocktons that you come across and coach at all. And I was just fortunate. I had just a little bit of time. My job with him was just make sure he got on the bus. Didn't miss the game. But getting Keegan, Keegan's 6'4", 225. He's a little bit different type player than Gunnar. They both sling it pretty good. Maybe not as fast, but he's a powerful runner. But just being able to get him, he played West Forsyth, which was they played 7A. I mean, he played really good football last year. Saw some good talent. Yeah. Had good numbers and performed well there. So, I'm excited about having this whole off season to spend with him and you do stuff. I'm excited about the year he's capable of having. And you're right. We do have a lot of skill guys. I mean, it's crazy. All the years I've coached, and this is starting my 30th year. I think that this could be as one of the faster teams that I've coached as far as having 5 or 6 guys that can really motor.
Yeah, and what is it like for you as a coach, not only for the skill position players, but just the familiarity and the semblance of what this program was and what it still is, and bringing those guys we mentioned back, guys like Caesar Cruz,
right.
Nick Beloga, Willie Goodwin, Jarrett Giles. What is it like to have those guys that are part of this DNA still be here?
Oh, it's awesome. Well, first of all, and I'll say this: there was nothing here broken. This when Coach Shaw and the staff left, they didn't leave this broken. It just, we just had some guys that need some experience, and we do have some really good players coming back. And Jarrett Giles and Willie Goodwin, the 2 starting corners for us last year, and Caesar was a great player for us on the defensive line. He'll have to play a little bit of offensive line this year, and we just got a couple kids that had played and not played last year. We got them back out. Nick Beloga, it's his time. We got a kid named Ethan Owens, that's a starting linebacker for us that actually started at nose guard as a freshman for Coach Stockton and had an injury, didn't play last year, but we got him back, and he's just been a phenomenal player. And there's so many more, that we have. And I'm looking, so we got a kid, one of our offensive line, Braxton Brady.
Yeah.
Just tough as nails, hard-nosed kid, but it's just kind of been in the shadow of those great linemen we have. But now it's his time.
I always love that, seeing the new names pop up that most people don't know about, and one of those that he may or may not be the best kept secret, we don't know, is Ty Truelove, and he's a quarterback that, it was sort of like the heir apparent to Gunnar Stockton's going to be a Ty Truelove type, not to put that much pressure on him, but it's there, and he's getting already looks and going to camps and all these things. What is it going to be like for him, being that Keegan obviously is going to be the starter, but is there ways to get Ty involved early?
Well, our deal, Ty is phenomenal. I mean, he is is a up and coming. He'll be a freshman. And what we did with him last year was we pulled him up so he could play up under Gunnar. And he's a big kid. I mean, he's 6 foot 6'1". He has a big future. He'll back up Keegan this year, but I have no, if something happens to Keegan, because we let him get reps every day. If something was to happen to Keegan, I have to put him in. I have no problem calling any part of our offense with him in there. Yeah,
that's exciting for not just for this year, but for the future as well. And you do have to retool some areas of this team. Like you said, nothing's broken, but it's more retooling in terms of mostly experience with these guys. But what is that looking like in general with the defense and the lines? How are you feeling about how that's kind of progressed?
Well, I tried to, take a lot of the philosophies that we had at Calhoun for all those years, and it was, we wanted to have 5 offensive linemen that didn't play defense, and then I wanted to have my front 5. My 3 down defensive linemen, my linebackers, that they didn't start on offense. And then we just, we alternate, and that's kind of where we're at right now. Now, we may have to roll some kids here or there, but we're trying to keep that so we can keep as much. It's single A football. We're sitting there with 55 kids, and so, at the end of the day, when the game's on the line, we're going to put the best 11 on the field.
Sure, but you want to try to keep them fresh.
Keep them fresh, and if we can roll some people, we can play some kids on special teams and give people rest and get more people involved. There's kids that have been in our program that may not be great players, but there's a role for them on Friday night somehow, some way. And if I can get that kid in a role, whether it might be putting him in on an X-point field goal, or it might be, putting him on a kickoff return, some type of special teams or a special situation.
Those are real reps. And
that's right.
Better. Absolutely. Now, is there pressure for you, again, being that you were part of this run last year, it's such a special team, but is there any pressure that you feel as a coach to maintain the status quo of we're shooting for a state title?
Well, sure. There's always pressure. I just think that's the nature of the business, and no matter what job you have. And, at Calhoun, we were on a run there. We had 18 consecutive region championships. And,
it's crazy.
But it's just, you kind of get where you don't talk about that stuff, in the role. You you just come to work every day and you take care of your business. You do what you're supposed to do. You take, like the kids talk about. We talk about take care of the little things.
Yeah.
You do the little things, and the big things will take care of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
We take care of the little things, and then the streaks and the wins and all that kind of stuff. They'll happen on their own.
Yep.
So.
And you've done a great job of putting that schedule together. And Rabun County typically doesn't shy away from competition. Almost never has. But you got a tough non-region slate that builds up for it. So how important was that for you to have?
I'm gonna thank Coach Shaw for the schedule.
Okay.
He actually had that. But and I really say this, and it's not we have to go play people because, and I don't know what the deal was, but I would rather play local people so that we have the bigger gates and our
draw.
kids,
Yeah.
yes, and our kids get to play in front of bigger crowds. But we got to find games.
Yep.
And having to go play a Haralson County or Heard County or Stevens County right down, which that's going to be a huge gate for us.
That's a good one.
And then having to go to which I'm familiar with Daresville. We were in their region and played, so I'm very familiar with them. So, we're not shying away now. And it's talented, but we want to stay healthy. We want to keep the horses for the race and make sure that we're there at the end and for when the region run hits, when we hit Elbert in that first region game, and that's our goal. Just get better. This football team, my goal is for us to be better and getting better middle to the end of the season than we are right now.
Yep.
And with the lack of experience, I think that'll hold true.
It's going to take care of itself.
Yep.
And Coach, like you said, I look forward to you guys doing the little things. The big things will take care of themselves too.
That's right.
And I think you guys are going to surprise a lot of people who aren't really familiar with the program and think that this team is taking a step back. I have a good feeling about where you guys are going this year.
Well, I appreciate it. Like I said, we're just happy to be here, and we're going to work hard at it and give it everything we got.
Yes, sir. Can't wait. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.